Today I'm going to go ahead and try to fix my car over here. It's a 2012 Kia Soul. I'm having some unsuspecting problems. It's kind of funky. See, the car is 2012, like I said, has 76,000 miles, and it didn't turn on anymore. It was kind of weird. I checked the electrical system, I checked the battery, I checked everything, and everything after diagnosing it pretty much points out to be the starter. The starter's faulty. I went ahead and purchased a starter locally, and I'm gonna go ahead and change it. I couldn't find any write-ups online on how to do this, so I went ahead and I'm gonna pretty much film my process and see how it goes. My first time doing it on this particular car. I wasn't expecting to do it so soon with only 76,000 miles, but hey, mechanical parts fail. So all right, we're inside. I want to see if I can show you guys exactly what it's doing. See, I put the key in, right? And I don't know if you guys can see that down there. Everything turns on. I get power, I get lights, I get everything. But the moment I go to turn on, let's get a click. That's all I get. I don't get nothing else. Alright guys, well, here's a starter that I bought. Pretty basic stuff. I got a local parts warehouse here in Miami, Florida, where I'm from. Pretty basic. Comes with pretty much a pretty basic instruction manual. This is pretty, removing a starter and replacing it's kind of pretty basic and pretty much the same for a lot of different applications. I opted for a new starter. This is a Denso starter. You can see it looks pretty massive. Like I said, I opted for a new one instead of a remanufactured because I've had a lot of issues with remanufactured parts not working properly the first time. So I wanted to eliminate that right off the bat. I didn't want to give it any chance to being a defective part. But yeah, let's go and see what we can do. This is my engine. As you can see, it's pretty dirty. I drive this car quite a bit every day. See if I can get a better look at what the starter is. Just something so you guys can think about. One of the reasons I was so skeptical about it being the starter is I can't believe that the factory battery in this car outlasted my starter. I think that's amazing. I have batteries go bad left and right. And every couple of years batteries go out. And I've owned this car since 2012. So, man, I still have the original battery. Dirty as hell, but hey, still kicking. So let me see if I can get a better look at the starter. I know it's down there. It's under the intake manifold. Let me see if I can get under there. Oh. Alright, so pretty much, got a lot of glare. Pretty much, can't get away from the glare. That's my slave cylinder. This car is a 6-speed. Got my old filter there. Pretty much, you see this part right here, this cylinder, goes from here all the way up to here. There's the solenoid. This is pretty much the starter of this car. It's not in the best positions to get to it, but it's not too difficult to get to it. So it's just tucked in between the the oil pan and the intake manifold. So I'm gonna go ahead and start unplugging all the plugs. Right here you got God, the glare's killing me. You got the positive terminal. You got the positive terminal there, and you got the signal switch, and you got a couple other things. So let me see if I can get those wires out of the way and kind of see where the starter bolts are. And I'm just gonna go ahead and start with that. All right, like I said, we were gonna start removing some of these plugs. So this right here, this seems like it's gonna be in the way. You got these pretty thick harnesses in the way. I'm gonna get these things out of the way as much as possible, but I want to get away all the simple things. I don't want to start taking off like the slave and my filter or any of that stuff. I want to go ahead and just take off the easy things like this oil sensor. We can just go ahead and clip that and take it off. And what else? Let's see the plug. There's the plug for the solenoid. Came right off. Over here. Well, this goes straight to the alternator. So let's try to minimize this and move it as much as possible now. Now right over here, let's see if I can show you. Right over here, that's gonna be the main power supply. So you wanna go ahead and get, I think that's a 12. Yeah, it's 12. Let's get that off. And I guess another thing would be, there's this bracket right here. It looks like a 10mm to get off. I might consider taking that bracket off just to make it a little bit easier and I can slide the harness down. It might give me some access to the bolts over here. So let's see how that goes. Alrighty then, that's the starter exposed. It took off all the harness from there. I was able to take everything off. I'm not sure what this plug is. It's kind of long. It's actually this plug right here. It's a 10mm bolt. I had to take it off just to be able to move the harness all the way out. But it's not a big deal. It just pops on. It's not a big deal. It's got a gasket. But we'll deal with that later. As you can tell, right here, that's one of the 14mm bolts. And I believe, maybe see the other one there. I'm not sure. I can't see the camera. But I believe the other 14mm is completely on the opposite side of it. So I'm going to go ahead and try to move that now. And I'll get back to you. Alright, one thing I wanted to add is I removed this plastic shield that belongs here in the corner, because I realized that one of these bolts is going to be really hard to get, so I wanted to make enough clearance as much as possible. So now I'm going to try to get it with my 14 and a long extension, see if I can get some leverage over here and get that bolt off. Alright, so from over here you'll be able to notice where I have my ratchet. That's where the other bolt is. I went ahead and was able to get the starter out. It's pretty basic. It pretty much comes out through here. Once you get those two main bolts off, it just kind of slides out through here. Make sure you don't hit anything on the way down. And I went ahead and already installed the new starter. Pretty much, like most process, when working on a car, it's pretty much the same thing as taking it off, just in reverse. I went ahead and held it in place. It was pretty easy. It's got a lip, on the inside, so you can tell when the starter is properly seated. Just go ahead and present the bolts and start threading them in. And once they catch, try to get both bolts on at the same time. And then once you see that both bolts have a good grip and they're threaded in properly, go ahead and wheel at it with the ratchet. Try to get in there as tight as possible. I went ahead and put the negative battery back on. That's good, nice and tight. Make sure there's no loose items. Double check your work. Make sure everything's put back where it's supposed to be. Everything's plugged in. Right? Let's see what happens. Moment of truth. Keys in. Ignition. Ooh, that's nice. That's nice. Turn down. Let's try it again. Ooh, it purrs. I like that. I like that. So that concludes this video. I hope if anybody's having a similar problem out there, I hope I gave you a little bit of insight. One thing I didn't mention, you gotta put all the plastics and everything back on. I didn't do that right away because I was scared that maybe the starter wasn't gonna work or something was gonna happen. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. But it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Like I said, the same is to take it off is the same thing as to put it on is the same thing to take it off. I used a 10mm long socket, a 12 and a 14, and I just used sockets. I didn't use anything else, just a wrench and a socket. This car is fairly new, so a lot of the bolts aren't seized, so I didn't have too much of an issue breaking the bolts to take them off. So other than that, I mean, if you have any questions, I know a lot of people on the online forums, if anybody's having an issue or your Kia is not starting, and a lot of people on the forums were saying that there's like a ground issue and there's not enough grounding, so they have these ground kits. That might be an issue. My car is stock. The only thing I have in this car is an alarm and a sound system.
So I don't see a need for a ground kit. My car never gives me any issues, you know. This has been the very first issue I've had with this car, you know, and I think it's fairly good. I'm glad that it turned on. I'm super happy now. I can drive my car again. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and comment below. I'll answer them as quickly as possible and as detailed as possible. All right, thank you, man.